Hi everybody, this is Pramita here, and today we're going to do some sort of, I hope this turns into a series, but right now I don't know where I stand. Like, might make a few and then stop and then run out of ideas, but I'm definitely going to give it a try and make more inserts like this, because I come up with ideas, I see a lot of videos, and this has been hugely inspired by Patricia Veramontes. I have been her subscriber, I have been watching her videos for a long time, and I love how she turns scraps into these beauties. You know, Patty, you are great. So this is totally inspired by her, but I've put again my twist to this. So this is actually a floating pocket. This has 5 pockets in it. Okay, so I'll show you how this works. So this is sized in such a way that you can put it in any kind of journal, like which is around 4.5 to 4ish in width. You can attach that, and then you can move it around if you so want. You can keep your ephemera that you want in it. You can also add a hinge, which I've not done, that I will show in another video, how you can add hinges to these. Now when we are adding hinges, we have to be very careful in one thing, mindful, not careful, mindful of one thing. Before we glue things up, we need to add the hinge, otherwise it will be visible from outside. So that might be a little bit bothersome to some people. So what I've done is I have not added any hinges over here. This is a simple pocket that can be attached to your page. So what I've done is, let me show you the thing. So you have one pocket over here, okay, one pocket over here, and then when you turn this, you have one pocket over here, so that is the 3rd pocket. You have another pocket over here, so that is the 4th pocket, and you have another pocket over here, sorry, that is the 5th pocket. So there are 5 pockets, and I've created 2 from one single sheet of A4 size printer paper, because sometimes what happens is the prints don't come out nicely, or I don't want to do something with this. You can do it with book page also, no worries about that. I just wanted to use up some of the misprints that I had, so I decided to go with that. So I've also collaged a bunch of scraps at the back, and then I made some pockets. So I'm going to show you the process video. So I don't know if I'm going to be able to finish this in one go, but I'll give it my best shot, you can say. So let's start without any further ado. So let me move everything away, okay, and then we'll start. So what we have here is a printer paper. I had messed up some printing at the back, so no worries about that. So the first thing we can do is we can simply fold this into half, okay. So I'm going to fold this into half, and from one single sheet you can make 2 pockets, okay. So you don't need to score anything right away, you can just simply trim it off. So I'm going to use my cutter, and I'm going to I need to get the blades changed. See, so it's not cutting properly. Anyways, so we can use the scissors to do the needful. So here we have 2 pieces. These 2 both have different variations. Like this one has a long fold over here, side tuck, and then I've added another pocket over here. So there's 2 over here, and on the cover or front or whatever, you have one over here and one over here, and one thin pocket over here. So there is a variation in the pockets also, so we might be able to do only one this time. So that's going to be floating pocket version 1. Then we can do the version 2 next time. But the basic construction is the same. It's only the layout of the pockets. You can do whatever you like. So now that we have cut down the paper, what we'll do is we'll take this, our scoreboard, and we're going to score. Now this is just for convenience. You can eyeball it. I often eyeball it, but it's for beginning. It's best that you follow the score line. So first I'm going to score it at 3, and then I'm just going to fold this. So this is done. So now I have this part extra. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create 2 pockets or 2 tuck spots out of this. So I'm going to fold this. Now the extra bit that I have is actually 2.5. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep it as 1.25. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to fold this on this side. Okay. Now if you feel, you can push this a little bit, but 3 inches is what I like basically. So your total measurement of this is going to be a little bit less than 4 or around 4ish. There is no basic measurement to this. You can just eyeball it. Just see how I've done it. I've left enough space here so that I can fold it twice, once at the back, and so that this is an irregular edge. Don't bring it close to the edge. This will also form a pocket if you want, or you can simply create a pocket over here, and this will be the side tuck or whatever. So our construction is done. Now is the part when we are going to do the collage or cover this paper up. Now remember one thing, we will cover only the edge. We don't need to cover the inside because you won't be able to see it. So that's that. And after I have collaged everything, I will cut a whatever circle, or if you don't want a circle, that's fine too. That's not a big deal. You can do that. So we're going to work on one of the versions. Let me show you. So probably we're going to work on this version, this one with the 2 pockets at the back. But before we do that, we have to collage everything so that it looks nice. So we're going to do that. So let's start that. Let me get my tub of papers. Okay, so I'm back with the tub of paper, scraps or whatever. I've just chosen them randomly. There's no rhyme or reason. I'm just going to go with a single type of subtle colors, because then it'll be easier for me to put any kind of any kind of accents to them. If I'm working on a butterfly journal, if I'm working on florally kind of journal, I can easily do that. So I'm just taking some random bits. Hopefully they will work together. So these are mostly scraps from my projects that I had worked on, and nothing in particular, but you tend to accumulate a lot of stuff when you're making journals or you're doing tutorials, process videos, stuff like that. So I'm just digging into this. If I remember whichever one that okay, so let's begin without further ado. I do have plenty over here. We are going to work only on one. So another trick that I would like to share is, whenever I'm doing a collage on a piece of paper, which will also have the back that I plan to use on, I tend to overlap the paper, so that gives a neater edge. You don't have to do that, but that's how I do it. So I'm going to just okay, so I'm going to take off this extra white bit, okay, and I'm just going to put this down. Again, as I said, this is just a scrap of paper, and I would like to keep the folds intact, because then I would visually be able to imagine how it's going to look once everything has been put down. So it's going to be a very probably a very quick collage sort of thing, collage project, hopefully, but you don't know, you know, sometimes it takes a while, but we'll do the collagey bit over here. Now, as you can see, I'm not thinking too much, because once I get thinking, then probably I will not be able to get anything done. So I'm just leaving things as it is. So I might tear this part off. I don't like this. I want this to show through. So I'm going to do this. And I need to put something over here also. So I'm going to see what I can. I don't want script too much. So this is going to be a quick sped up kind of thing. Hopefully you don't get bored. I have been receiving such lovely comments from Alma, Cindy, Sherry, of course. So this is done. Okay, now I'm going to turn this on the other side and just pull this over. So I know this sounds weird, but you'll see it's going to give a more finished look. Okay, so you don't need to stitch projects like this also. That's another thing for sure. But I have this weird obsession, you can say, with stitching. And I personally like to do a little bit of stitching. So you can skip the part, you can just glue it. And then in that case, you know, don't use a glue stick. Use a PVA glue or a wet glue, because that works best. So I'm going to take off this extra bit from the bottom part. And if you're planning on stitching this, do the stitching even before you glue glue down the pockets. That's the best, you know, because once you put down the pockets, it becomes a little bit difficult to maneuver things around. So again, I'm using whatever tiny scraps I have left. I'm just trying to bring the cohesiveness, you know, so that they look well put together. So I don't need this. I can just simply trim these off. So you can see you can use up a bunch of scraps, and then if you are fussy, then of course you can go over this with your gel medium or decoupage glue or whatever. But I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to make sure that they lay down properly with the glue stick, and then because I'm going to stitch them also, and just make sure that they are well put down. So I need to put a little bit of glue over here. This can be used to, you know, help you reduce the scraps that you generate while working in projects. So I'm going to use this towards the bottom part. Yeah, but I'm going to take off this dirty thing. So yeah, so I have a lot to use up, you know, and probably you'll be seeing a lot more projects like this, floating pockets and stuff like this. So I'm going to use this. I like this you know, image, so I'm going to use that. So as you can see, it's very very quick sort of project where you can use up a lot of your scraps. You don't see the inside, so you don't need to do much. You can just guesstimate. So, and if you're using a flimsy paper, don't worry, because you're going to put another layer of paper to it, so it's going to be covered up anyway. So here I have some bigger scraps. I'm going to use this because I want this part to show through, you know, so that this rose is a little bit prominent. Or I can use something like this, you know, so it stands out, very cohesive. But I think I'm going to go with the scripty one. Okay, so, and as I said, I'm going to pull this on the other side and cover up. So that's another nice thing that you can do, and you won't be able to see the inside, so no need to worry about that portion at all. So I'm just going to glue this, and I'm going to use I had a card somewhere, yeah. So I'm just going to push this down as much as possible. And again, as I said, I generally, whenever I'm creating folds like this, I generally try to pull them over these papers so that they have a very nice finished kind of look. So I'm just pulling this over. I'm going to trim off the extra, so no need to worry about that. And yeah, so I'm going to trim off the extra bit. This is indeed a very quick project. You, again, as I say, you don't need to sew everything down, but it's just that I like to give that sewn in look, so I do that. You can totally skip the process. Okay, so that's done, and now what we can do is we can finish covering the bottom part. So I'm going to use this paper. Okay, so just using this. Okay. So you can use up a lot of your scraps this way, and you can also use some of your favorite papers that you were holding on to, even if it's a tiny bit. You can do it with a cardstock paper, but in that case it's going to be very bulky, I guess, because you can, but if you have those paperweight paper packs, you know, they used to come in, you know, bunches like 360 pages, 180 pages in one paper pack. You can use those because they used to be usually in the paperweight thickness, not your cardstock thickness. So, but if you're using a pattern paper, you can simply fold it. If it's a double-sided one, you can simply fold it and give this look. So we have our base done. So probably I'm going to go and sew this around and come back to show you how it looks. Okay, so I'm back. I have sewn everything down. So I made a mistake, not mistake as such. I punched a hole on the top, so since the basic structure is the same, so I'm going to show you this one. It's all similar to this, only the arrangement of the pockets are a bit different. So I've not stitched this side yet because I'm going to glue this, and at the back you can see there is another tuck spot. I have not stitched this part, so I need to stitch that also. So that's that, and I can glue this part also. You don't need to stitch this. So that's nice because you can also get to see how you know, the glued version would look. It's going to be same, no difference as such. So you can just skip the sewing part also. But I'm not going to embellish them too much, as I said, because I don't know in which project I'm going to be using them, so I'm going to keep them pretty neutral so that I can use them in any botanical journals that I want to, and then add accents to them. So I have them glued down, and now is the time when I'm going to decide on adding some pockets. Okay, so in this version you can see there are 2 pockets, and at the back there is only 1 pocket. So I'm going to choose some papers. Now I have some scraps, as I said, but also another thing, I have some freebies from Antique Papery. She gives them on her Facebook group, so I'm a part of that group. So I will be using some papers from Sherry's Facebook freebies. So let me dig into it. So keep all of these together so that, okay, but one thing I can do is, since I'm going with a rose theme, I can use a rose kind of paper to make a pocket. Just a second. I think I printed something out in doubles and I would like to use that. Just a second. This one. Oh my god, I'm such a mess. I don't know if it happens with me or everybody else. Whenever I'm about to do a video, I'm all over the place. I find that I can't find things around, so I will be using this page. This is not from Antique Papery, by the way. This is from a shop that I just bought some items. That is, something fell down. Okay, so I just bought some items from, this is from a shop called Journal Board. And I like the things because one thing what I liked is that her journal papers or the kits, you know, they are very very comprehensive. Like there are no very large tags. Like I'm not making big journals. If you're not making big journals, then these are the kits that are good for you. There are small pockets, small tags, small ephemera, and they are good for projects like this, probably. So what I'll do is, this is our prototype, so I'm just going to decide. So I'm going to add the pocket from here till the end. So I'm just going to take my pencil and guesstimate. So this is the only fresh paper that I'm using. Rest of them had all been scraps. So I'm just going to guesstimate how much I need. So that's around here. Oh my god. So it's around here. Okay. So I'm going to start from here. So I'm just going to trim this and show you, like, I did draw that line, come on. Okay, so just, I have that line over here, and now I just need to trim this off. Now these papers, they came out a little bit yellowish because you know, when I opened the paper pack, I found that the color, not that it mattered much, but yeah, like it came out a little bit like this, but it's okay. Like it does give you that kind of tea stained, coffee stained kind of look, so that's okay by me. So here is one pocket that I'm going to put in, and there's going to be another pocket which is going to be something different, so that, you know, it stands out. So probably I'm going to use this, or another scrap that I can use. So I can use this. So I just need to, you know, do some, or let me see if I can use something else, something that I already have. See, the alignment of the pockets is totally up to you. What you want, how you want that to look. You don't have to go with this. It's your call. You can do whatever you want. So I'll probably use this, but this is in a different orientation, so I would not use this. Okay, so this is something interesting. This is some fabric cuffs that Ephemera's Vintage Garden has in her shop, some antique lace cuffs, so I can use that. Okay, so but I need to trim this off, and you need to watch me do this unless and until I decide to just pause, do this and come back. So I can do that too. I think I'm going to do that. Okay, so I have stitched this triangular portion that I had cut, and I've also cut another triangular portion from that scrap, that rectangle that we had created, so I can add that at the back. And you can pretty well see that it's pretty different from the one that we had done, so there's no rule. You can do any kind of variation you want. I just didn't want to waste the paper, but I can always use it like this, so probably I like this better, and I'm going to use this, so I'm going to trim this part off, and that will be stitched on this part. So what you will have is one pocket over here and one pocket over here, just like the one that I had done. Okay, and on the front what I've done is, as I said, I had that vintage fabric cuff sort of thing, so I am going to stitch this. You can glue this, and then I'm going to leave it a little bit hanging, because it looks nice, and at the back probably I might add a bit of lace later on, so I'm not decided that yet, but I'm going to keep this as a pocket. It's going to look nice, when you have something like this. So it's different in every case. Whatever scrap you have to improvise accordingly. It's best that you improvise accordingly. So I'm going to add that. So in this case I'm not going to stitch anything, I'm just going to glue this down, and I'm going to stitch this pocket and come back to show you how it looks, and we'll do the gluing later on. Yeah, so I'm back. Now I just need to glue the that vintage lace collar cuff sort of thing that I've chosen. So I'm going to glue that. Move these aside. I need to clean my workspace. And in the next video we're going to do the other variation, that is the one this one. So it's going to be a little bit different, but not much. So I'll basically do the collage elements and all, and probably I'll just show you the how it's going to look. So I'm just going to lay this, and what I do is I'm not sure where it's going to lay, so I'm just going to do that. And here's my card. So this is again a little bit different. So these are going to be floating ones, so no worries. And at the back you can always add something else, some lace, something, some ruffle, something of that sort. So it's not a big thing. So you can add something like this, just to hide that hanging part. So probably I'll go back later on once the glue dries on the other side, and I will. Okay, let me tuck this in a little bit more, because this has okay. So this is how it's looking. So we have one pocket over here, two pocket over here, 3, 4 and 5. So 5 pocket floating insert, and we're going to do the version in the next video. So this is going to be version 1, and then there's no version 1 or version 2. You can align these pockets in numerous ways. It's just that I did it this way. You can do it something else, and nothing is wrong, everything is right. So I'll do the other one that I had shown, this one with the 2 pockets at the back. I'll do this in the next part. Bye everybody, have a great day.